Hey there and welcome back to Mass Effect 2. My name is Pete and today we complete what is in some ways a bit of a transition episode. We are about to leave Tuchanka for good and then back on the Normandy. We will have a few short conversations before we head out for the next big mission.
Don't touch anything. Eyes straight ahead.
In the last episode, we also already said our goodbyes to Rex, who is sadly unwilling to join us at this time, but perhaps this won't be the last time we run into him.
Clan Urdnot has increased in strength after the destruction of Clan Warlock. In addition, killing the Thresher Maw has produced several breeding requests for Grunt and one for Shepard.
Ha! Those Turians and Solarians look like up close. Nobody around here but more Krogan. It'd be fun to kill someone else for a change. A good fight's a good fight. Doesn't matter who it's against. Yes, you're right. Still want to tear off some Turian scales, though. Someday.
And Edie just told us some good news. It looks like Clan Urdnot has benefited from our actions during Mordin's loyalty mission, and Grunt did obtain himself a small fan club as well. He won't stay around to take advantage of that, however, as we can now use our shuttle to finally return to the Normandy. And here we are, back on the ship, and we already have a message waiting for us.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
The message comes from Urdnot Dark, the Krogan scout that we freed from the hospital that Clan Warlock had occupied, and he sends his regards, thanks us for the help, and mentions that our actions even changed his mind about joining the Blood Pack. So that's another good deed done, I'd say. Let us now quickly head up to the cockpit, because, as usual, Joker has a few words for us to comment on the situation.
You know, Commander, I'm not real broke up that Rex isn't coming. I'm good with our current amount of headbutting. I'd say we're at headbutting capacity.
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
Alright, and with that insightful comment taken care of, we can now head over to the tech lab, where we will not only have a brief chat with Mordin to wrap up his loyalty mission, but where we can also take care of a few more upgrades. The first two upgrades are both improvements for our shotgun-wielding companions, with the first one here doubling the amount of ammunition for all shotguns. This is a pretty substantial bonus, even though we're not using shotguns all that often. The second shotgun upgrade improves the weapon's damage output. It is the fourth upgrade of its kind, but contrary to what is displayed on screen here, there are actually two more like it waiting to be found. Now, under prototypes, we can continue with the 6th heavy weapon ammo capacity upgrade, so we've almost doubled the capacity, but again, there is one more upgrade like this, so we will reach that point soon. Also under prototypes, we can research the 2nd Krogan Vitality upgrade, improving Grunt's health even further. Now, at this point, we are once again looking under prototypes, and we're using a research project that has been available to us for quite some time, the Advanced Training. Spending 5,000 units of Element 0, we can give Shepard a bonus ability with this, choosing from the list of all of our squad members' loyalty powers. That is, as you can see, a pretty long list, also including Kasumi and Zaid as DLC characters, but what we're after is Jack's loyalty power, Warp Ammo. Unlike the other ammo powers, warped ammo improves a weapon's damage output against multiple types of protection, namely barriers and armor, as well as against regular health. It's only lacking a bit against shields, but we have disruptor ammo for that, so all in all it is a very versatile ammo power that also fits Shepard's soldier build quite nicely, since it is a passive ability that does not stop us from using Adrenaline Rush as often as possible. Now, with Warp Ammo unlocked, we can also respec Shepard's abilities a little to optimize him for the endgame, and we're doing that by once again spending some Element 0 to retrain his powers. First things first, we will of course max out and evolve Adrenaline Rush, and we're sticking with the heightened version for the maximum slowdown effect. Up next, we're maxing out Disruptor Ammo, since again, Warp Ammo's biggest weakness is against shields, so heavy Disruptor Ammo for a 60% damage bonus against shields should be useful. For now, we're skipping Incendiary Ammo though and move right on to Combat Mastery, which we will also max out and evolve, going with the Commando specialization for a higher damage bonus at the price of a lower health bonus. Then it's time for Warp Ammo, and you can see it here. The first rank provides a 15% damage bonus against barriers, armor and health, and if we once again choose the heavy version as our specialization, that improves to 50% against armor that is not quite as much damage as Inferno Ammo would do, but Warp Ammo is much more versatile. Our remaining points will then all go into Incendiary Ammo, but we won't be able to max it out to Inferno Ammo just yet. So we are completely skipping Concussive Shot, and we even have a few level ups left to then eventually unlock Inferno Ammo, and with that, Shepard should be very well rounded for pretty much any type of enemy the game can throw at us. So, on to the next task, a brief conversation with Mordin Solus.
Still hard to believe Malin betrayed me, betrayed my work, disgusted by his actions. Proud of his nerve, though. Always thought he lacked backbone. Hope he finds something new, better goal, better purpose, fewer torture tests.
And as always, we want to explore dialogue options on the left first, so let's comment on Mordin's state of mind, which appears to be awfully calm.
You're really at peace with what happened?
Yes, of course. Can't change what happened. Life continues. Back to mission, back to work. Become like Malin otherwise. Stellarian emotional processing faster than other species. Has to be. Short-lived culture can't spend time reminiscing.
So you really don't feel bad at all about what happened on Tuchanka?
Yes, correct. Now at least. Greatly distressed at the time. Stages of grief, loss, anger, rationalization. Dealt with it. Most issues settled on Tuchanka, some on shuttle back to Normandy.
Malin didn't seem like he processed his emotional response. He was obsessed with the genophage.
True, didn't mean to imply that Solarians were healthier emotionally, can still make wrong choices, bad decisions from grief, anger, guilt. Malin couldn't accept feelings. Made decision, executed. Probably before I left for Omega. Wish I'd seen it. Solarians still feel, just resolve it quickly. Explains lack of marriage, can't sustain courtship emotions. Or perhaps based on reproduction. Unsure.
We can now also ask about Malin's research data. Perhaps Mordin was already able to take a look at it.
What about Malin's data on the genophage? His attempts at a cure?
What about it? Have it over there somewhere. Not dealing with it now. Need to focus on collectors. Not important now, regardless. Appreciate you helping me back on Tuchanka. Should get back to work. Wasted enough time already. Lots to do. Talk later?
Okay, seems like Mordin is prioritizing his work in a way that suits the mission, and more importantly, it also appears as if he has his mind set on the task ahead. Let's hope that the same is true for our Krogan ally Grunt as well, who, after completing his loyalty mission in the last episode, will now be the next companion to talk to.
Not Grunt. I like it. I have a clan. That makes me... It makes me want to fight, not just able to. And Uvink, I wanted to disembowel him, to tear out his spine like a trophy.
And despite going through the rite of passage, Grunt is still filled with Krogan rage, so let's hope he can direct it at those who deserve it.
Can you focus that on our real enemy? Or do I have to lock you up for the ship's safety?
I get it now. It's part of what I am. It was just delayed because of being tank-bred. Now that I know it's not an outside thing, and I have a place as a Krogan, I like it. Our enemies are in trouble, Shepard, and we better not run out of targets.
Now here we can grab 2 Paragon points, either with the choice at the top or the one in the middle, and since we don't want to deny Grunt his Krogan fightful nature, let's instead promise him a lot of targets to take down.
There's no danger of that. They're practically lining up.
Everyone gets a turn. Ha! Wouldn't want it any other way.
So, 2 Paragon points obtained, on to the next conversation. Since we're already in engineering, we might as well also have a quick chat with Jack.
Hey,
What's happening?
you got a lot of questions, don't you?
And here we want to state that we're interested to learn more about her, which will earn us 2 more Paragon points.
I miss your friendly nature when you're not around.
Been thinking. We've seen a lot of shit together now, and you're always coming to talk to me. Shepard, you got feelings for me? Because I don't need the complication.
Now, don't worry, no matter what we say here, it won't affect our chances to romance her, should we want to do that. But still, let's remain a little vague for now, just to keep her guessing.
I'm not buying it, Jack. You're trying too hard.
Screw you. You don't know me. I've had enough.
Fine with me.
Right? You're too needy. That's not my thing.
Right.
Stop that. Stop playing with me. This should be easy. Why aren't you easy? I don't want to deal with this right now. Leave me alone, Shepard. Just for a while.
Okay, and there we are. All conversations have been taken care of, and with almost the entire squad now loyal to Shepard, we can continue with the next mission. So, let us head back up to the CIC, where not 1 but 2 new messages are waiting for us.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Alright, let's start with the message at the bottom here, which introduces another DLC armor, the Kestrel armor. For a change, this is not a one-piece suit of armor, but instead consists of several pieces for chest, arms, legs and so on, that can freely be combined with other armor pieces. The individual pieces are quite powerful, and this will likely be our endgame armor, but before we go to the captain's cabin to equip it, let's read the other message here, in which we are informed that Cerberus has found a lead on the whereabouts of the Shadow Broker. Now, we know that Shepard's friend and current love interest Liara is looking for the Shadow Broker, and to avoid trust issues, Cerberus asks us to give the info to her personally. So, that is what we're going to do shortly to start our walkthrough of the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC, but first, let's change clothes.
Commander, you might want to speak with Tally. She seems very worried about something.
In Shepard's cabin, we can now make a few adjustments, retire the unique look of the Blood Dragon armor and instead switch back to the regular N7 suit. For our helmet, we are not going with Kestrel, instead we're going back to the plain old visor for a headshot damage bonus and also for visual appeal, because for the upcoming DLC mission we want Shepard's face to be visible. The armor pieces for chest, shoulders, arms and legs will all come from the new Kestrel armor though, and as you can see with the chest piece here, the bonuses are quite substantial. The shoulder piece then comes with a bonus to shields and melee damage, not the most useful thing for us, but it adds some valuable protection. The arm piece improves shields and melee damage as well, alongside a small weapon damage bonus, so it's a very well-rounded piece of equipment that we'll gladly take. The Kestrel Power Pack leg armor then also gives some extra shield capacity as well as a small increase to heavy weapon ammo capacity, and all in all I would say that makes for a nice array of bonuses that should all help us in the upcoming mission. Speaking of which, let's head back to the CIC now and finally activate the galaxy map.
Commander, you might want to speak with Tally. She seems very worried about something.
So we have finished our business in the Relic system and can leave the Krogan DMZ now, but we're not heading straight for Illium just yet. As you can see, we have not yet fully surveyed the Eagle Nebula, so let's do that. After all, we have to pass through there anyway. Also very important, we want to arrive on Illium with at least 300 to 400 units of fuel, and since we're about to do some surveying as well, let's fill the Normandy's tanks up to capacity. The first of 2 systems we need to check out today is then the Relic system, home to 7 planets, all with rather interesting names. The first one is Rough Tide, a dwarf planet that has seen some conflicts in the past over its mineral deposits, and there are in fact a few valuables to be found here, most notably a large platinum reserve. Moving on, we travel to Praying Mouth, a gas giant notorious for swallowing ships on their way past, albeit for yet unknown reasons. Mineral-wise, a small deposit of element 0 can be found here, so the planet might be worth checking out. Planet number 3 is the frozen rock world of Beach Thunder, a planet once again famous for its mining operations, and indeed, it harbors one of the largest iridium deposits in the entire game. Closer to the system's center, we then find Fitful Current, another rocky mining world and once again rich in iridium, although not quite on the level of Beach Thunder. Up next, we have Murky Water, a planet that ironically has not yet shown any signs of water, and whose name was given by the Hannah to indicate danger, understandable considering the planet's surface temperature of over 200 degrees Celsius. All three minerals can be found in low to medium amounts, so this is not really a prime mining destination. Our second to last stop is then First Land, a gas giant that is more or less devoid of any mineral resources, but instead harboring a bunch of space stations in its orbit. Finally then, we make our way to Island Wind, another gas giant that doesn't really offer many valuables, but instead has cyclones that span tens of thousands of kilometers, if you're into that sort of thing. Now, that concludes our brief tour through the Relic system, and don't worry, the next one will be much shorter, as the Malgus system is only home to 3 planets. Our first stop, Flet, is inhabited by the Vorcha, who use the planet as a training and breeding ground, so we should probably keep our distance, even though a decent amount of palladium can be found here. Things don't get much friendlier as we travel to Uzin, named after a Krogan god of vengeance, and as a gas giant entirely uninhabitable. It also doesn't offer much in terms of minerals, so let's move on and conclude our survey trip in orbit around Rill, another palladium-rich planet, but also once again inhabited by both Vorcha and Krogan, so it's probably best to give this planet a wide berth. And there we go, we are one step closer to full completion with the Eagle Nebula now completely surveyed as well. Time to finally pay Liara a visit. We don't have to prepare any further, the Normandy still has enough fuel, so let's land on Illium and pick our party. And we will take Garrus and Miranda, because Overload is going to be a very useful ability on this mission. Since we just reallocated Shepard's squad points, we don't have any to spend with him, and the story is the same for Garrus and Miranda as well, so let's jump straight to weapon selection. Here we will get rid of the M920 cane and exchange it for the arc projector, which should hopefully come in handy. And that's all, time to meet up with Liara. We already know the way to her office, so let's get moving, and I will be quiet as there is a lot of chatter on Illium that I don't want to interrupt.
Are you a Quarian or Volus who is tired of being passed over for promotions because of discrimination against exosuit-wearing employees? Genetic paradigms invite you to consider environmental...
How can you short sell on PFABs after these human colony attacks?
Success
They're
rate
going to save a ton of business.
And here we are, let's see how she handles the new information about the Shadow Broker.
Shepard, it's good to see you again. So, what can I do for you?
I know you're looking for the Shadow Broker. Cerberus gave me data on where to find him. Interested?
Absolutely. I had no idea. Let me see what you've got. It looks like a leaked transmission between Shadow Broker operatives. Some hints as to the location and... It's about Feron. He's still alive.
Your friend? The one who helped recover my body from the Shadow Broker?
The same. He sacrificed himself to save me. I'd never found anything suggesting he was alive. After 2 years, I hadn't even dreamed.
Alright, looks like this mission might be about more than just the Shadow Broker, but it might be wise to try and manage Liara's expectations here, while we of course also attempt to learn a bit more about Feron.
If he's been the Shadow Broker's prisoner for 2 years, he may not be in good shape.
I know. But yesterday, all I wanted was the chance to avenge his death. Today, he's alive. I'll do whatever I have to do to get him back.
Sounds like you and Feron were close.
It's funny. He betrayed me more than once. He was double-dealing for Cerberus, for the Shadow Broker. But in the end, he sacrificed himself for me. I owe him.
Any friend of yours is a friend of mine. What's the next step?
I don't know. I I need to prepare, to think. I'm going home. Use my terminal if you need any local intel.
You okay?
I've spent 2 years plotting revenge. Now I have the chance to make it a rescue.
Let me help. I'll come by your apartment.
Okay. Hopefully I'll have a plan by then. Thank you, Shepard.
Okay, here we are, and we could now follow Liara straight to her apartment. Had we not already recruited Samara and Thane, we could now find valuable intel on her terminal over here, but at this point in the game we no longer need it. And we are actually also making the cut at this point, since this DLC is fairly long and will probably take 2 long episodes to complete. There is a rather natural break somewhere in the middle, but continuing until we reach that point would make this video extremely long, so again, let's consider this a transition episode and properly dive into the DLC next time. Still, I hope you enjoyed this rather brief episode, and if you did, then I would of course be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course also subscribe to stay up to date, or perhaps support the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.